Welcome everyone to our weekly Soul Changes Lives webinar. My name is Debbie Perez Cockburn. I am your moderator today. I love having all of our new friends who are joining us for the first time, and all of you who share the videos and will watch it later. Welcome to everyone. We do try to keep to a schedule on these weekly webinars. We always start with a testimonial, and today we're going to hear an awesome testimonial. And then we have the product section, which is always presented by our president and one of the founders of Solle Naturals Incorporated, and that would be Mr. Greg Halliday, who is also a personal friend. And then we just try to give a little hint at the end of each session on how to make your soul shine a little brighter, and usually that's when I'll show you something that's new on our Solle website or give you some idea on how to share Solle. So having said that, I just want to remind everyone that all of the opinions expressed on this webinar are personal opinions. We are not doctors. We don't treat diseases, and we try to share to the best of our knowledge the information that we have on adaptogenic herbs and how they can help you, empower you to have better health. So I want to welcome one of our friends who's always with us every week, and she's going to be sharing a wonderful testimonial. We have Juanita Fuentes with us on screen. And Juanita, why don't you just go ahead and explain to us your testimonial today, because I think it's fabulous and I want everyone to hear it.
Great, thank you. Well, I would like to share my uncle's experience. He's actually my godfather, but he's also my uncle. He lives in Mexico, and how I learned about his condition was my cousin was talking to me one day, and she was telling me that her dad had cancer. He had cancer in the prostate. Now, how I learned about it was he had took a test. It's called a PSA test. It checks for the protein that the prostate produces. He was going to like a regular screening. He didn't really have any pain, but he did have problems urinating. He had a little trouble there. So he decided to go do a screen test, and his blood work came back at a 15. Normally, a normal amount would be from 0 to 2.5. The doctor won't really worry about that. Then when it's like at 2.5 to 4, he's kind of like, oh, okay, let's do more tests. When it's from 4 to 10, then it's more likely that there's cancer. Well, his came out at 15. So they were really concerned about that. They decided to immediately do surgery, remove the prostate. And that's what happened. After that, they took it to lab, and they found out that it was a very aggressive cancer. So they decided to do a second surgery and remove his testicles. Once that was removed, the doctor did tell him that, well, he told his family and him that he didn't remove all the cancer from his body, that it was still in I don't know what it's called, but it's like a little vein that connects the organs, that there was still cancer within there, and he wasn't able to remove it. After he did that surgery, he did the same blood work, and it came back to like a 9. So it had gone down, a little bit. I heard about that at that point. My cousin was telling me about, what her dad was going through. And I said, I had just learned about the Solle products. And I said, you have to try these Solle products. There's so many people that have gave their testimonies, how it's helped them. I was already connected for about a month since then. And I said, try it. And she said, yeah. So they gave themselves the opportunity to try it. With all the faith in the world, they decided to go ahead and try the program. It was a little bit like on a heavy side as far as taking the product, because his condition was severe. And 1 month later, he went to the doctor. He was feeling fine. He didn't really have a crisis. He didn't have pain or anything. It was just taking the teas as I told him to take them. And 1 month later, he went to the doctor. He did the same test, and his test came back to, I think it was a 0.2.
I'm really busy right now. I'm in a class.
it came back to a less than 1. So he was very amazed. The doctors were amazed because they did tell him that, you know, his cancer was not going to get any better. They gave him like a chemotherapy pill. But they told him it wasn't going to be removed. After, he was very excited to take the product. He took it for another 2 months. So the 3rd month, he goes back to the doctor, and the doctor told him that he pretty much had cured his cancer. Now, obviously, it wasn't really like, he also changed his diet, and he gave his body the nutrition that it needed for the body to get rid of, you know, any bad cells or whatever it was going on in his body. So he was very happy. At this point, he's still with us, cancer-free, thank God. And that's his story.
Juanita, that's fabulous. That really is amazing, because I know people who have had issues with cancer and have done the traditional doctor recommended treatments and never have such a great outcome as your uncle did, to do everything that he did. So thank you for sharing that, because I think it's really amazing that you could go from a 9 after all the surgery and treatment that he did, go to less than 1 point.
Less than 1.
Yeah, on a PSA test in such a short amount of time, and still maintain that good health. So I appreciate that testimonial. That is so impactful for everyone who will hear that. So thank you again for sharing. I really appreciate that. And then Greg, we're gonna go ahead and turn the time over to you now. And Cynthia, I see you waving your hand. Can you hold your question until later? Thank you. All right, go ahead, Greg. It's so good to have you here with us this week.
Thanks, Deb. It's good to be here. And I'm really excited to hear Juanita's story. And I had heard, as she had shared that in Spanish about her uncle. Just makes me so happy. And he has a really good resource in just bringing some I think some special nutrition into his life that makes up for typical gaps in all of our diets. It's something, he lives in Mexico, but it's something worldwide. We all do the best we can. And there are changes. There have been lots of changes in the last few decades, really all around the world, in the way food is produced and processed and et cetera. And so much good has been done, I think, in that area. But there also have been changes that have resulted in nutritional gaps. And we see that by what we see trends in health. And so it just makes me so happy, Juanita, and that's why we do what we do. We just want to get the message out so people can maybe earlier, they can get those your uncle had the blessing of you hearing about it early enough. And others, like Debbie said, they never get to hear before, it's kind of past that point. So happy that you were there for him. So happy. His life, what a blessing for him. So let me just show you a little bit about why we set up Solle the way we did and organize the products, because I think that story, because Juanita said a couple things, like number one, she said that he was using more. He was using higher amounts of things because his condition had much greater needs. And I think that's one of the principles, is we have to match the needs of physically, stress management, emotional, with nutrition. It has to be enough. And that one skill, if we could give one skill to our kids, that's the skill I'd want to give them, to learn that principle of matching, and that's one. So we concentrate most all of our herbs in Solle. We use the whole herb and we concentrate it up for that exact reason, to bump up the nutrition, because we think today's world, today's situation for most all of us, to not say all of us, requires much more nutrition, perhaps than in the past. And the number one reason I am comfortable saying that is because of the interconnected global communication and a lot more stressful. Stress isn't always bad. Stress is just a lot more of everything. There's a greater need. The body, in managing that and processing it, I believe, uses much more of certain key nutrients that are not found in the levels they need to be in the typical diet, not even close. And if we can supplement that in a new way, we can make a difference. That is what Solle was founded on. The whole purpose of the company was to meet that need. And in fact, this is something that we prepared 10 years ago, even before we launched officially the company, as we were preparing our messaging. We know a lot of people more and more and more in today's world are thinking about the health of their body and the need to take care of it, to have longevity in life. We just have to take care of our body. We can't just ignore it. And that's something that a great percentage of people would agree with, and to some extent would be doing some things. Now, I think a lot of people don't. They just let the chips fall where they may. And then once they're sick, I'll just deal with it then. But I think that's changing. I sure hope it's changing, that more of us are being proactive. Solle wanted to take the next step and say, those nutrients and habits and nutritional, just what we eat for our meals and nutritional supplementation influence the health of our mind just as much as any other part of us, just as much. Mood can be improved nutritionally. Cloudy thinking or forgetfulness can be changed with nutrition. The way we manage stress, our reaction, some of that choice that we make, we may think it and we may intend for it to be a way, but there just isn't the energy in us to do it that way. That's not a defect in us. That's actually a nutritional deficiency. And when we bolster that, we suddenly find that some of these intents and the thoughts and desires for good things that we want to do in our lives and for good things that we want to do for others, we're actually more capable when we have a better nutrition. This aspect, or in other words, my mind and the whole health of my mind, if I will categorize it just like I categorize my physical health, I can have a different life. This is why we founded Solle. It was a series of events that led us to look in this area. Some of them are personal, and I've shared some. We're very open in my family about it. And some of them were research and professional experience. That combination is what made us, right from the beginning, talk to people about these three words. And we have them actually painted on our office, or here in the Solle corporate offices: your body, your mind, your life. Part of the reason for doing that is another idea which is a cause of our company, which is enabling people to have the principal control for how they feel physically, mentally, and emotionally, and in the time, how they spend their time in life. So we built the company around strengthening that, giving more education, and building products that deal with both things, body and mind, and then setting up the system of our company, the sharing system, the educational system, and the business opportunity system, so that a person can take more control of their time in their life. So that's why these three phrases are such a key part of Solle, because these were our desires, that we wanted to help people in all these: your body, your mind, your life, in all these areas. They all are interconnected. They change one and you will change the other. Pick one of these three and you will change the other for good. So that brought us to our name. Why did we call the company Solle, and why did we spell it funny? I mean, a lot of people still say Solle because you've got that E on the end, Solle. And it's really just Solle, S-O-L-L-E, Solle. Why did we choose it? Because it sounds like S-O-U-L, soul. And what we're about is balance and connection and integration of the parts of us: the emotional, the mental, the physical. I love these. These are definitions that you can find in the dictionary for the word S-O-U-L. I like the third one the best: the perfect integration of mind and body. Or in other words, a balanced health. When things are in balance, we're incredibly adaptable. We are stronger than we think. We can deal with all things that come our way. We don't get overwhelmed. Some things might be really super hard, but they will not defeat us. When we get issues that creep in because of stress and nutrition and lacks, that's when it can become overwhelming. And absolutely we can become overwhelmed, and we can't really get out of that without help. Well, that's the reason for Solle. And the whole structure of Solle, where it's a sort of a family connection, network marketing structure, is 100% about support. It is 100% about lifting each other because we connect with each other. And we're trying to help people feel that pure integration, or a healthy integration of health between emotional health and stress management and any kind of a physical ailment or challenge that will come. That's part of life, but also balancing that with opportunities that might be there for a person to help others and create a business and a lifestyle where they can actually determine their time and their emphasis, because that also plays a role in emotional health and in physical health. All three are connected. So this is where Solle came from, in case anyone was wondering. Our platform, as we call it, is that optimal health requires integrated nourishment. We can't just look at things and say, oh, yeah, we need this because it will lower your blood pressure, or we need this because it will take pain, joint pain away. Those are good things to help people with, but we won't reach the level necessary that's sustainable over the years unless we're nourishing both body and mind, unless we're nourishing how we manage stress, how we receive stress, process it. When we do this, we're able to actually solve. The body is pretty amazing, isn't it? We're able to solve many, many of these physical situations, and the body finds itself in a state where it can repair, where it can rejuvenate, where it can detox. It's designed to do all those things when it has all the right nutrition, the right components, the right ingredients, the right materials that are absorbed into the system and delivered to our cells. And so that's what Solle's about. Giving optimal health, integrating nourishment, every single formula, because we have adaptogens. They deal with the emotional side and the physical side. It is one of the great defining characteristics of an adaptogen, and why we centered the formulas around these wonderful adaptogens, complemented by other herbs that are very helpful and play a role. Now, the second point of this slide is that all of our products, every single one, concurrently targets physical, mental, and emotional health concerns. So we do have specific targets in products. We realize we need to meet people where they are. And sometimes people, this is the thing that's bothering me so much, and I can't see a more complete program yet, but I'll try this. And once I see something, okay, now I'll open my mind and get more complete in my nutrition and really be able to make a difference over time in my health. So that's what the Solle platform is all about. And to try to make it easier, to try to make it a little more clear, and to also point our minds towards thinking differently about health than I've got a symptom, I want to cancel out the symptom. I have another symptom, I got to solve another symptom. I got this situation, I just got to solve this situation. To change our minds from that mindset to a more holistic, complete view, connected view of health, we actually developed the 4 categories. And I'm going to jump, this is a slide where I talk about we only use premium. We can't do any of what we're doing with just the cheap herb powders that are available. Many of them diluted, many of them combined with other things. We don't use any of that in the formulas. We only use concentrated extracts and the highest available herb powders. So that's part of our quality standard. And what we did then is we put this into 4 categories. All of the products have a color label. It's either green, which is balancing, it's red, which is lifting, blue, which is calming, or yellow, which is clarifying. Why did we choose 4 categories? Back to one of the points I made just a few moments ago, one of the main aims of the company, its main purpose for existing, is to give power to the individual to direct their own health, to solve it and direct it. Now, when we get that power in our own lives and we start to see it, it doesn't mean that we can avoid everything and we see everything. We don't, right? We all learn. We get better and better at it over time. But once we get to a point where we feel confidence, I mean, I look at Debbie, and Debbie has such confidence. She knows how to take care of herself, and she knows how to direct and help point others to where they can get that same kind of skill and information that she has cultivated over her life. So why do we do these 4 categories? Really to kind of guide our thoughts a little bit, to think a little differently about health when they think of problems, not so symptomatic, even though it's good to know them and listen to them and hear them, right? When we're helping someone else and even with ourselves, that there's a useful part to those symptoms, but we can't stop there and just think, oh, solve the symptom. With these 4 colors, we think, all right, I'm going to start from the right of the screen, which is clarifying. And honestly, I'm not going to talk about the detail because I like the way Debbie teaches it better than the way I'm going to say it. So I'm going to let her tell you how she sees these definitions. But I'm just going to say in broad sense, clarifying is all about moving blockages that are preventing messaging and processes, detoxing, neural messages, anything that needs to flow. It's about fixing the flow. The blue is about how we manage that chronic busyness and stress. There's good stress too. We should have good stress part of every day. It makes us stronger. But how does the body manage that? And can the body maintain a state of calm, which it needs at night when we sleep and at times in the day to be able to repair itself and rejuvenate and keep itself functioning? That's what calm's about, is avoiding that overwhelm. And the red is really all about the 90% of people who walk around depleted and low energy, and looking for a stimulant, looking for something, anything. It could be the Red Bull, the coffee, whatever, right? Something to give me enough energy to do what I got to do today because I have to do these things. These are my responsibilities or my needs. So red is generally about doing this in a better way and in a healthy and in a building way, not one that gives energy now, sacrificing 4 hours from now with a roller coaster down, or sacrificing heart and other functions later on in life and pancreas because we're overusing them. Red is about building, but giving that lack of energy to the world. And then green is foundational. It's every day. Many of these are every day, really. I personally think all of them are, but we have various products. You might alternate which products you use, but something in every category every day is the secret. It is the secret to soul. It is the secret to health. We start with the signature drinks and we go from there. Balance has a little bit of all 3 others in it. That's why you see the green is about that balance combination. It's that state the body looks for. And when we're trying to fix the body, it's good to bolster it in a balanced way and then go after the fix. So there's a lot of ways to use balance and a lot of ways to think of it. But we hope that people always think this. With the categories at Solle, I'm balancing body and mind. I'm lifting emotion and physical processes like improving metabolism, speeding up, giving more energy. I'm calming physical overexertion and mind. Okay, I'm clarifying or detoxing or cleaning, sorting through physical and emotional issues. Think of it both body and mind at each category, and you start to discover really the potential of how to use the Solle products and a different way, hopefully, for people to look at health in a much more effective way. Deb, I want to give it to you because I like how you talk about sort of the little insignias, the arrows, and what they mean to you. Your mic.
Sorry. I neglected to introduce the theme when I just handed over the microphone to you. So
That's okay.
But we'd had a little discussion before you actually jumped on. I always think it's so important to revisit this particular point about soul, just because of what you said. Hopefully people will understand that soul can change lives by improving our mental, physical, and emotional state. That's important. If any part of the body could function independently, you would see those little body parts walking by themselves, but we don't. We see the whole machine. And that's why when I think about these 4 categories, I really can get emotional about it and very passionate, because for 24 years, and you know this, I had been using a lot of natural products. And while I got some relief, I really wasn't getting any better. And I wholeheartedly believe that the difference, what made that switch in my body, was turning on the brain and helping the emotions through the use of adaptogenic herbs. And so when I look at these 4 categories and I look at the little arrows and the insignias, or however you want to refer to them, I really see what is happening in the body. There are organs that are all over the place, right? Your heart, your lungs, your liver, those are, it's not that there's one part of your body that works harder, but boy, oh boy, if that brain doesn't keep everybody marching to the right tune, then you know what? You're going to have organs that are going to be overworked and others who will be underworked, right? And eventually the ones that are working so hard become overworked. And so when I look at balance, I look at organs that, just like those arrows, you know, they're coming from all directions and they converge in the middle, because your body is always looking for homeostasis. And like you said, the red category is lifting. When I think of lifting, I was never the person who drank coffee for energy, but I remember being the one who worked so hard until I worked myself into the ground, and then I didn't know how to get back up. And so when I think of lifting, I think of getting the body back up to where it needs to be, so that the mind and the body are functioning on that same level. And if you look at it in a spiritual sense, which I don't normally do, I always think it's always better to look up than to look down when you're trying to get ahead in life. You don't look back, you don't look down, right? If you're looking down, you can't see where you're going. If you're looking back, you have no hope for the future. I look at the lift, kind of that arrow that just, and I love, like, for instance, the cinnamate or the essential oils that have so much cinnamon in it. They're so comforting. They really do lift the body up. And so I look at that arrow as, how can I lift my spirit? How can I lift my mind? How can I lift my body to its optimal functioning? And the blue, you know me, I just always think it just looks so zen, so calming, just like I'm sitting there meditating, with the arrows are coming from the inside out. And I think the nervous system, the brain, works so hard. And you hit the nail on the head when you said, you know, people, if you can't sleep and your body is always going, you really need to tone it down. There are organs that work so hard, like the brain, the lungs, the heart. They need to rejuvenate. They need to be renewed. They need to get that Zen feeling. So I just love those 2 arrows coming out from the center and going outward. I think of the central nervous system just being able to function properly and sending that energy out through the body. And finally, you know, the clarifying. Things that need to move have to move. And I love this one because it reminds me of merging traffic on the freeway, right? If we're not moving all in the same direction and we don't know how to merge properly so that everything that's flowing can continue to flow. We've all been there, stuck behind the wreck on the freeway where somebody didn't know how to merge, or someone didn't know how to let them get in, right? And causes the crash. And a lot of times our bodies become stagnant. The energy becomes stagnant. Things can't just flow the way they need to. Why? Because there's an imbalance. That's why I loved Juanita's testimony so much about her uncle, because here's a guy who was being proactive, who was trying to do everything that he could, that he knew he could do or should do to better his health, but his mind was so open to doing more. And because she was new with Solle, I don't know if you caught that. She'd only been with Solle less than 2 months when she offered this product to her uncle. And him, God bless him, for being so open. I know that with my sister, who recently struggled with cancer, she was also very open to saying, okay, wait, what products do I need to be using every day? What do I need to do? And I've seen a change. I've seen so many changes in people, and that's why I feel so passionate about Solle. And I love, Greg, what you said about the ease of use. If we know and we look at these little insignias and we kind of remember, you know, what do I need my body to do? Do I need it to lift? Do I need it to be balanced? Do I need to get that Zen feeling? Or is there something that just isn't moving properly in my body that needs to flow, like your blood, like your lymph? You know, again, today I heard another story verifying what we have been talking about and what Dr. Allison has been talking about for almost 10 years about, you know, if we don't sleep enough, we don't drain the glial glands that are in the brain and drain that lymph. Now there's science that says, you know what, that plaque buildup in the brain, if that isn't flowing and that doesn't drain at night and you're not sleeping at least 7 hours, then guess what? You're more likely 30% higher risk of having Alzheimer's. And they say that if you're in your 50s or 60s, that's when you really need to make that change to sleep a little longer. These products, if you use them every day, will help the body do what it needs to do naturally, because you're providing that wonderful foundational nutrition that you find in all 4 drinks. You've seen me every week. You know, I always have a drink in my hands during the webinar. Why? All 4 drinks are important because your body is always looking to be balanced. And it can't do it just with Solle Vital alone. It can't do it with green category herbs by itself. That's why I love, Greg, that when you founded this company, you could have done anything you wanted with this product, but you chose to go a different route. You could have had some great supplements because you knew how to formulate them, right? We worked together at that other place together for years. You had that knowledge. You could have done that. But for personal reasons, you chose to use adaptogens and bring a better quality of life to the people in your circle who were actually needing that balance, right? And then you enhanced adaptogenic herbs with Ayurvedic herbs, with traditional Chinese herbs, with Japanese herbs, and all of these other products that people have not ever heard about. And really, we are seeing that because you use the whole plant, and because you use the powder of the plant, or you extract to a certain degree the plant, we're seeing the amazing changes that we can. And I hope that people remember the colors and the arrows and can say, you know what, I'm not feeling it today. I really need to be in tune with my body. What does my body need at this moment? And at least grab one of the 4 drinks and give the body what it needs every day. Thank you so much, Greg. I really do appreciate that so much.
You betcha, Deb. It's a pleasure to be here with y'all. We'll see you next time, okay?
All righty. Well, we love you. Thanks again.
See ya.
Bye. All right, everyone. So our Solle capsule for the day. And hi, Miss Sherry. It's good to see you there. We were worried about you. We thought you were buried under the snow. Pretty much, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I am going to just let you unmute your phone. It's wonderful to see you all. So for our Solle capsule, you know, how can you make your soul shine brighter? I hope that not only did you listen to the testimonial, but like you said, like I said earlier, Juanita, you're my hero. I think all of us, when we first start using Solle, we're so overcome by how we feel. And some of us will have the natural tendency to share. I hope you're brave enough to share the product with someone you love, because they're the ones who you want to keep around. And so share your experience, share your feelings, share what you think about Solle through personal use. That's my tip to you today. If you really want to grow, if you want to help this world, and boy, oh boy, did we see it this week, right? I don't know if you felt stress just watching the results of that one trial that's going on that had the power to disrupt all our lives today. And it didn't. I mean, we can fix how people act. We can help someone fix their brain with this product. We can help someone fix the way they think with this product. This product will provide the body what it needs to make that decision and help the body just go forward and feel better. I love that testimonial, Juanita. Thank you so very much. Your uncle is so brave, and I can't believe he had all of the surgery and everything to get rid of the cancer. He was still at a 9 points on the PSA test, and he took it from 9 points to less than 1 point in about 3 or 4 months of using the Solle product, and really just helped himself. And like she said, he's still here with them. He is still enjoying life. And that's amazing. So thank you, Juanita, for sharing. And I don't want to cut off anybody. I know that Cynthia, you had a question and I asked you to hold. Now's the time to ask it.
Okay, this was for Juanita. She talked about the program and that he started the program. Now, are we talking about the 4-month program that he started on? He just started it up like the month number 1 and then continued with month number 2. Is that what she's talking about?
For my uncle, when he started, he did the initial balance number 2. And I kept him on that for the
Perfect. So what she did, Cynthia, was she was using, there's a packet number 2. This is number 3, but oh, sorry, I'm showing the wrong page.
The first one. The
Okay,
first one.
hold on. Let me go get this. I want to see this.
So you have this brochure, Cynthia. I know you do because Veronica has it. So she used package number 2, which is all of this plus the adaptable. Okay. So that's what she used. That's the initial balance package number 2. And that's what she kept her uncle on for all of those months. Many people in our group use just the initial and they continue with that, or they choose to go the other route and do the 4-month package, 4-month program. So you can choose, but that's usually what my group does. They use either the initial balance package number 2, which is everything in number 3, plus the adaptable, or they choose to go the 4-month route. With my sister, she has done the 4-month route. She is cancer-free 2 years. So just, just like your uncle, but she went through hell and high water. She did the chemo, she did the radiation. She's a nurse, she works at a hospital. So, sometimes they feel the pressure to do all of these things, and it really helped her. And I talked to her last night. She sounded great. She said, I need to order this and blah, blah, blah. So, people, if you're willing to stay with it, the body can do what it needs to do when you give it what it needs to do it with. So
it's not going to be necessarily the same for everybody. Like, okay, so, okay, I personally did the 4-month program, but I can't say I was really faithful with it. It's hard for me to be faithful with anything, but I try to do this. And at the 4-month, I could tell I wasn't doing real good. So I restarted the program with month number 1.
perfect.
Okay, at the same time, my brother who has MS, I take care of him, and I started him. I didn't start him on the 4-month because he has enteral feeding, so he has like a formula. So I took one formula away from him, and replaced it as a meal replacement with the protein complete. The complete plus protein, I think. That a half of a scoop of the Thrive, and 1 packet of the Restore of the blue.
Right. So you were basically doing month number 4.
Month number 4.
That's what you were doing, which is fine. And like I said, we're not doctors here. We don't treat any medical situations. But like Juanita said, it all starts with looking for balance, right? So the initial balance package, you can do package number 2 or package number 3. You can choose to do the 4-month program, which is usually what I do with my customers and my friends, or Some people like to do the initial balance for 3 months, and then they move to the second month for 3 months, and then the third month for 3 months, and then the fourth month, you know, and they do that during the year. Some people will do it like you did, Cynthia, where you did month 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you started over again. I think you hit the nail on the head when you said you were not faithful. And so I'm not here to chastise anyone or tell anybody what to do, but know that I function better when I take my products daily. Juanita has a wonderful little story about her son, though some of you may have heard it in the past. She shared it with us on this webinar in English, where her little boy calls it his nutrition. He suffers from ADHD, and he knows, and he's a little boy. He knows that if he doesn't take his products every day, he doesn't feel right. And so I love when I have seen him. We had a little interview with him, and he was so adorable, where he said he takes his nutrition every day. And his sister said, if he doesn't take his nutrition every day, he's just everywhere. And so he knows.
Okay.
You knew it. You said you felt a little off and you started over again. I would urge you and leave everyone with the same challenge, is choose your program that you want to be on, be faithful to it, and give it time. Stick with it, because I know that your body was perfectly designed to heal itself if it has what it needs. Okay. The herbs don't heal. Medicines may help, but then they do other things. You know the side effects that come with medications. I don't need to tell you those, but I do know that in 24 years of using a lot of tableted and different kinds of herbs and treating every symptom individually, I never got the results that I got until now by treating my body as a whole. So just remember, it's your whole body. It's your body. It's your life. It's your mind. You do with it what you feel best. I give you all that challenge, and say it with not with any sarcasm or anything. Please know that it's coming straight from the heart. I think that if you stick with it, you're going to see some amazing results. Obviously, some people have dealt with some challenges for longer periods of time. So don't expect everything to disappear in 4 months. Everything that took a lifetime to build in that body. You know, sometimes we don't listen to our body when it's screaming for help in the beginning. We think, oh, it's allergies. I'll take an antihistamine. Do you know what I mean? And we ignore symptoms that maybe the lungs are saying, hey, I'm a little overworked, or I'm a little underworked. What can we do here to fix everything up? Do you know what I mean? And so don't wait till your body is screaming or that you're in a terrible situation before you do something about it. Stick with it. Work hard. We're here to cheer you on, Cynthia. Juanita, did you want to say something before we close?
I just wanted to make a quick comment. The 4-month program, as we know, the first month is balancing. Second month is, we're detoxing. Then the third, we go into a deeper cleanse, and then we go into nutrition. Well, I wanted to share my sister-in-law. She started the 4 months. She suffers from, what is it? The red skin on your face, rosacea.
Rosacea.
And so she said, okay, I'm going to try the 4-month program. She's tried going to doctors, dermatologists, etc. Well, on the first month that she is on, because she's barely on her first month, she started noticing that she was going to the restroom a lot. And that's not even the detox. So in her body, on me, it didn't react the same way. I'm on the 3rd month. But with her, the first month, it was already starting to clean her. And that's kind of what I wanted to share, that everybody's different. Exactly. And for her, her body was balancing, but at the same time, she was already releasing. And that was what I wanted to kind of share into the conversation.
That's awesome. I'm so glad you said that, because you hear me say it every week. Every person is a universe unto themselves. I can't say to Sherry, do this because this is what you're going to have experience. No, I can say, Sherry, try it and make a list of everything that bothers you right now, and see if at the end of the first month, that list is still active. If you're still being bothered by everything on that list, then probably we need to do more, right? That you go to the 2nd month and then you start the detox. And I could go back and say, Sherry, how are you feeling this month? And she'll say, you know what? I don't have the headaches anymore, or I don't feel dizzy anymore, and I don't have this, but I'm still working on this issue. And that's exactly what is saying. Every single person is individual and has different results. But in the end, obviously, if we stick with a program, then we will eventually get to the place where the body wants to be. I can tell you, mentally, emotionally, for me, I am not the same woman I was 8 years ago. When I quit my job and pretty much was forced into retirement, I was close to having a nervous breakdown. Everything made me cry. Everything made me angry. I don't have that anymore. You know, we lost power here last month in Texas and had no water, and it was cold as heck inside the house. And you can ask my husband, I didn't cry, I didn't panic. I laughed through the whole thing. It was just like, it's an adventure. Wow, what's going to happen today? You know, are we going to go driving on the ice to charge the phones? It was that kind of, I would never have been able to react that way. I tell you, honestly, 5 years ago when I lost my mother, I was not the one who fell apart. My sisters always thought, Debbie is the one that always cries. She's going to fall about her. It wasn't that way. I was able to take care of them as we planned my mother's funeral. So I promise you this. I can't say this is going to be your exact result, but I do promise you that if you stay with the program, you will see results. And so thank you, everybody. Thank you, Juanita. Thank you, everybody, for being here.
Thank you, Debbie. Thank
So
you,
nice to
Debbie.
meet you. So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
You, bye-bye.
And you too, Juanita. You too, Juanita.
Nice meeting you too.
All right.
All
You're
right,
so
bye,
pretty.
everybody.
You're so pretty.
Cheers.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Okay.